guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my September book haul for you, so stay tuned. I think because I'm doing so many book hauls, that's probably why I am so behind on getting these things caught up, because even if I post 2 book hauls a month, I'm just gonna stay behind because I'm hauling at least 2 loads of books a month. I am forever behind on these. One day I will get caught up. Maybe not this year, but one day I will be caught up. Okay, so this is my September book haul, and I have 16 books here to show you. So if you don't already know, I do my book outlet book hauls in a separate video. I'll link that playlist up here for you. But these are all of the books that I've bought or gotten elsewhere. So we have books from thriftbooks.com, Books A Million, Amazon, and ones that were gifts or free kind of thing. So I think that's where all of these came from. One might have come from a subscription box. Anyway, here's my book haul. Let's just get started with the books. We're going to start with the ones that came from Thrift Books. So the first book that I have here is Paper Towns by John Green. I've only recently read, well, recently being in like the past year, my first John Green, and I really enjoyed it. I read Turtles All the Way Down and The Fault in Our Stars. Loved them both. I think The Fault in Our Stars was the first one I read, and then Turtles All the Way Down was the next one. I can't remember. I cried with both of them. They were both amazing. I'm looking forward to reading this too. So this says, Quentin Jacobson has spent a lifetime loving the magnificently adventurous Margot Roth Spiegelman from afar. So when she cracks open a window and climbs back into his life, dressed like a ninja and summoning him for an ingenious campaign of revenge, he follows. After their all-nighter ends and a new day breaks, Q arrives at school to discover that Margot, always an enigma, has now become a mystery. But Q soon learns that there are clues, and they're for him. Urged down a disconnected path, the closer he gets, the less Q sees the girl he thought he knew. Prince medalist John Green returns with the brilliant wit and searing emotional honesty that have inspired a new generation of readers. And I've heard really good things about this. It seems like it will be a quick read. I'm looking forward to reading this. Okay, the next book that I have here is another book from Thrift Books, and it's one that I've actually already read. Marty and I read this series, and I have, I believe, the first 2 books of the series, but I was missing the 3rd one, and so I ordered the 3rd one off of Thrift Books, but we listened to the audiobook of it, and this is Ruins by Dan Wells. This is the 3rd and final book in the Partials trilogy, which is like a dystopian world where humans created these beings called partials to kind of help fight a war for them. And after the war, they didn't really have a use for these partials anymore, and they made them like slave labor pretty much. And the partials didn't like that because, well, they're sentient beings. They are essentially human, but really better in all aspects and could annihilate the humans. But instead, well, there's a war between the humans and the partials. So half the world's population has been annihilated by this disease, and the ones that were immune to it are still alive, and their numbers are dwindling, but they're like living in colonies together. And the big problem with this disease is not only did it kill a bunch of people, but all the people that are left can no longer seem to procreate. And the humans blame the partials for this disease. And then the partials also have a problem of they were created with an expiration date. So on this date, they pretty much like advance age and die like within a day or two. And humans and partials do not get along, but they may have to work together to solve this problem. And that's what this series is about. Okay, so the next 3 books that I purchased from Thrift Books are part of, well, it's a trilogy. We have The Nightmare Affair, The Nightmare Dilemma, and The Nightmare Charade. When I got these, I was thinking it was more like middle grade, but I think it's actually YA. But I still think it might be something that Xander might be interested in as well. So it may be something that we read together. I don't know. This says, 16-year-old Dusty Everett breaks into houses late at night, but not because she's a criminal. No, she's a nightmare. Literally. Being the only nightmare at Arkwell Academy, a boarding school for magic kind, and living in the shadow of her mother's infamy is hard enough. But when Dusty sneaks into Eli Booker's house, things get a whole lot more complicated. He's hot, which means sitting on his chest and invading his dreams couldn't get much more embarrassing. But it does. Eli is dreaming of a murder. The setting is Arkwell. And then his dream comes true. Now Dusty has to follow the clues, both within Eli's dream and out of them, to stop the killer before more people turn up dead, and before the killer learns what she's up to and marks her as the next target. And I thought it sounded super interesting, and I was able to get it cheap from Thrift Books. Okay, so the next 2 books I got were from Books A Million, from their little bargain bin stuff. So the first one is The Rules by Stacey Cade. This is book 1 in the Project Paper Doll. This says, number 1, never trust anyone. Number 2, remember they are always searching. Number 3, don't get involved. Number 4, keep your head down. Number 5, don't fall in love. 5 simple rules. Ariana Tucker has followed them since the night she escaped from the genetics lab where she was created, and the result of combining human and extraterrestrial DNA. Ariana's survival and that of her adoptive father depends on her ability to blend in among the full-bodied humans in a small Wisconsin town, to hide in plain sight from those who seek to recover their lost and expensive project. But when a cruel prank at school goes awry, it puts her in the path of Zane Bradshaw, the police chief's son, and someone who sees too much. Someone who really sees her. After years of trying to be invisible, Ariana finds the attention frightening and intoxicating. Suddenly, nothing is simple anymore, especially not the rules. And I was able to get this for like $3.97 at Books A Million, which is pretty cool. And I thought it sounded really interesting. Okay, next up is a book that, well, Marty and I read the first book in this series and absolutely loved it. I've loved everything that I've read by this author, so I'm excited to have the second book in the series, and that is Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Diviner series, and I got this thing for $3.97 at Books A Million, which is incredible. So in The Diviners, it's about a girl named, what's her name? Evie O'Neill. And she's a seer. She's able to see things that other people can't. And some of the things, she has visions. Some of the things she sees have already happened. Some of the things have yet to happen. And this is something that she's kind of tried to keep a secret, but kind of got out one night at a drunken party, and kind of became a little bit of a party game until she saw and said something that got her in trouble. And she was shipped off to live with her uncle, I believe, who's never had any children or anything like that, and in New York City. And he's sort of a professor of odd things and runs a museum of odd supernatural kind of things. And she ends up sharing with him this ability she has and wants to use it to help solve this murder that has some unexplained things going along with it. And it was really good and spooky and, oh my gosh, perfect for fall time for this story. Marty and I both really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to continuing this series. So this box set here is something I ordered off of Amazon, and it is the Ruby Red Trilogy box set, and it comes with Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue, and Emerald Green. And okay, for one, the cover alone very much gave me like Selection vibes. Granted, this is nothing like the Selection series, but it just kind of gave me that vibe with the girl in the dress. But this is about a girl named Gwen whose family, the women have a secret, a special ability. They have this time traveler gene, and it skips generations. And so they weren't expecting Gwen to have this ability. They were expecting her cousin Charlotte to inherit it. And so Gwen was not prepared. She was not trained or anything to handle this. And then all of a sudden, one day, this ability manifests in her, and she finds herself time traveling to decades in the past, and she has a fellow time traveling counterpart named Gideon. They, I guess, travel through time together, and I think it's a hate to love relationship that develops with them. And yeah, that's really all I know about this. It sounded super cute. It gave me Selection vibes, so I wanted to check it out. And I don't remember how much I got this for, but it really wasn't bad. It was like under 20 bucks for the 3. So, okay. So the next, I think the rest of the books I got here, I got for free one way or another. So the first book was when you ordered a box for, I guess it was the September box for Unplugged Book Box, you could put in this code ARC and get a free ARC. And so they sent me Kissing Lessons by Sophie Jordan. And this says, lesson number 17. Sometimes being bad is very good. Wild, beautiful, as rumor has it, experienced, Hayden Vargas doesn't have time for love or relationships. She's learned the hard way that the only person she can count on is herself, and she's hell-bent on earning enough money to leave her small, judgy Texas town as fast as possible. But when nerdy Emmeline Martin offers to pay Hayden for lessons in seduction, the money is so easy there must be a catch. Enter the catch. Emmeline's older brother, a popular, all-around nice guy, Nolan Martin, who doesn't want his sister's reputation tarnished by the school's resident bad girl. But Hayden isn't all she appears to be, and neither is Nolan, who may seem like a golden boy to the whole world, but has a few secrets of his own. The more Nolan meddles in Hayden's lessons with Emmeline, the more these polar opposites clash, and the more sparks fly. Turns out Hayden and Nolan have a few things to teach each other, but only if they're willing to learn. And this also sounds like a super cute, hate to love kind of relationship, which I'm all for. Oh, you know what? This one wasn't a free one. This was actually a book that I purchased at BookNet Fest from the author. And that is Collateral Damage by Taylor Simmons. And it's super cute. This is about a girl who lives in the world of like superheroes. And she's more like a background extra. And she's just constantly trying to avoid her car getting destroyed and just, you know, making it through day to day with all of the superhero fights and everything going on. And it says, when Meg accidentally finds one of the city's perfect invincible protectors murdered under extremely suspicious circumstances, her whole innocent bystander strategy falls apart. After being coerced by his determined girlfriend into a mission to help prevent the deaths of the remaining supers, Meg finds herself forced into the foreground of a story she never wanted to be part of, one that challenges everything she thought she knew about both her city and herself. And the author was saying that Mia Chronopoulos, I think is how you say her name, the girl from Princess Diaries, that she, like, that whole attitude is kind of what she was channeling when writing this character. It sounds very, very cute. Anyway, the next ones are all free books that I picked up while at BookNet Fest. So the first one is The Serendipity of Flightless Things by Fadnate Moser. I'm sure I said that wrong. There's the author's name. Right, focus. Right there. And this says, oh, this is middle grade, by the way. This says, 12-year-old Finn lives in a fairy tale world all her own, raised by her storytelling grandmother, Nuala, amidst the troubles in Northern Ireland in 1971. Finn spends her days playing make-believe in the forest with her friend Darcy, longing to go to Innis Alla to see the swans and waiting for her father's return from the war. While Nuala revels in the safety and routine of their simple life, Finn craves adventure. But when disaster strikes, Finn finds adventure more quickly than expected. She's shipped off to Virginia to live with her long-lost mother, Eof. Excited to meet her newfound family, Finn can't help but notice that things are a bit unusual. The town is encircled by thorn trees, and swan feathers and heads decorate her mother's house. Finn has a sinking feeling that something's not right, and she starts to believe that what's happening isn't just coincidence. Could it be that one of her grandmother's famous stories is actually coming true? But those are just childhood folktales, aren't they? This eerie and enchanting magical realism tale from the author of The Flourishing of Floraline Laurel is sure to cast a spell on readers. Next is another middle grade, I believe. This is A Storm of Strawberries by Joe Cotterill. And this is actually rather short. It's 227 pages. And, it's middle grade, so it's rather large print. This says, Darby is 12 years old and has Down syndrome. Her favorite things are music, chocolate, and her big sister, Katie. It's a big weekend for Darby. The family's annual chocolate hunt is here, and it's all she can think about. Well, that and spending time with her big sister. But Katie's friend Lisa is staying over for the weekend, and she seems to be stealing all of Katie's attention. And to make things worse, their strawberry farm is struck by a tornado. Suddenly, it's as though both the chocolate hunt and her sister are slipping away from her. Although the family is equipped for the brutal weather, they aren't prepared for the storm of emotions that surface when a hidden truth amid all the turmoil is brought to light. With tensions rising within her family, can Darby mend what's been broken, even when it seems like no one else is listening to her? Next, we have The Year I Didn't Eat by Samuel Polan. This is also middle grade. It says, in many ways, Max is like any other 14-year-old. He's dealing with family, girls, and bullies. But Max is also dealing with something else, anorexia. In his journal, he confesses his thoughts and feelings to Anna, his eating disorder. But when his mom finds the journal, Max freaks. He tears the pages out and hides them in his geocache in the woods near his house. 2 days later, he gets a reply. As his family unit cracks, Max's eating disorder intensifies, and Max and E start swapping stories about their issues. But who is E? It could be the new girl at school, Evie. It could be someone who's actually trying to help Max. Or it could be all one big colossal joke. Will anorexia continue to rule Max's life, or will he be able to overcome his eating disorder? Samuel Pollan's The Year I Didn't Eat is a heart-wrenching novel that is both uplifting and unforgettable. And this last one here is also middle grade. It is Only the Stars Know Her Name, Salem's Law Story of Tituba's Daughter by Amanda Marone. And this says, a year has passed since the witch trials in Salem, and while townspeople act like nothing happened, 13-year-old Violet lost everything. Her mother, Tituba, was accused of practicing witchcraft by Betty and Abigail Paris, two girls Violet had grown up with and thought of as sisters. While others who were charged of witchcraft denied any wrongdoing, her mother had confessed. But why? Her mother would never have done such wicked acts, would she? After the remaining incriminated townspeople are pardoned, Violet learns that Reverend Paris has sold her parents to a man who took them north. Filled with rage, she comes across Tammy Younger and Elizabeth Prince, two girls who are seeking vengeance of their own. Together the three form a coven, signing their names in a book of spells. But the magic they practice, at first new and exciting, turns dark and deadly. Will this black magic help Violet find her family, or will it be her undoing? This powerful historical story of family, revenge, and forgiveness is a can't-miss novel from Amanda Marone. And I thought it sounded really, really interesting. Very, very interesting. And again, these are middle grade, so I think they're going to be short, like quick reads. And this one is also only 281 pages. Okay, so this, oh gosh, I can't get it all in the frame, is my September book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!